What's up guys? For today's video, let's go back to a simpler time when Premium Bandai kits were nothing other than just recolors with maybe a couple added parts in there. I give you the Master Grade Marasai Unicorn version. This one is one that I've had for a long time, since its release probably. So I've probably had this for about 10 years almost. It's been sitting in my backlog. I have actually built and reviewed the HD version of this kit, but I have the Master Grade kit here we're going to be taking a look at for today from back in 2013 when this kit released. Let's go ahead and take a look at it here for today's video. And alright, so like most P-Bandai kits, we don't really have too much to see here on the outside of the box. As you can see, it's mostly just titling, and then we have a monochrome version of a photograph of the painted kit here for the box art on the front, which does look very cool there, as you can see. It's basically just the regular Marasai with just a different color scheme and a new weapon there from the Hammurabi actually. And because this is from an earlier time, we do have the list price on here for 4,200 yen. Let's go ahead and open up the box. Looks like we're going to have the standard Marasai instruction manual here, which there's the regular color version. This has a bunch of information here on the inside about the regular Marasai, which if I remember correctly, I have reviewed the standard red Marasai. I believe so, if I remember correctly. It's been a couple of years, but I think I did. There's the parts list. And so this review, basically everything that's here in the manual has been covered before, but just to give you guys a quick refresher, here's kind of what you can expect to see on the inside of our standard Master Grade manual. There are parts in here that will allow you to use the balut system there, which is another different set sold separately. You can also use an LED in there for the eyes. There's our painting guide, so it's all good and well, but that's for the standard version. Here for the unicorn version, we have this additional page here. This one will include a parts list and instructions for the new weapon there essentially. And let's see, here on the front is the painting guide. Here's that there at the bottom, and then some sample images here of the painted build for your reference. And you can see there's also a marking guide on here where the markings are going to go. That's the colors that it's going to be in ultimately. But let's go ahead and take a look at our stickers. So we have some sticker decals here for some caution markings, some Titans logos there, green one there for the Monowai. And then we have some dry transfer decals in here as well, all in white for some Titans and Anaheim Electronics logos there, and some numbers that you can choose from for the markings. We've also got this black wire in here for the weapon, which is about 20 centimeters in length. And then getting into the runners, PC200 in gray for our polycaps. Runner SB1 for our clear yellow beam saber effect parts here. Runner A is in 4 colors, clear parts up here at the top, gray flexible parts over here on the side for the hosing bits, a lighter green over here, and then darker green for some parts for the shield. Then runners B and C are also in that darker green color. There's runner B. Runner C, we have 2 of those. Runner D, we have 2 of some parts for the piping, and this color is difficult to describe. It's like a peach color, a color that we very, very rarely see when it comes to Gunpla, interestingly enough, so that's quite unique. Runners E and F are gonna be in the lighter, kind of olive drab color here, lighter green color for the more of the armor. Here's runner F, we've got 2 of those. Runner G is in a lighter gray color here for some weapons parts and a few parts for inside, including our pilot figures. And then runners H, I, and J are going to be all our inner frame runners here, molded in gray. So runner H, runner I here, and then runner J we have 2 of for the rest of our inner frame. And then runner K is our new parts for this set, the parts for the new weapon in a dark gray, and that's it. Alright guys, here is the kit, all built up, a pretty good size kit too. You may not think of the Marasai as necessarily being all that large, but it's a pretty good size here, as you can see in 1/100 scale. The new color scheme looking very nice here on this. I love that green color scheme with those like peach colored, I think is probably the best way to describe them. Peach colored accents that you have on there make for a really, really nice accent color, where normally you might expect that to just be kind of like orange or like a yellowish orange kind of color. I think it's a really, really unique color that they went with for the piping bits for this particular design. But not only do we have some new colors, but we do also have some new weaponry included, which is also quite cool. Let's go ahead and check out all of our accessories. Right, so just to get some of the old stuff here out of the way first, this is all of our connection bits, which you can use for the balut pack if you have that, obviously sold separately. You can use that. This is the connection stand that you can use to connect this onto an action base base and have it like falling backwards on the balut pack. Again, if you have that. We've got our 1/100 scale standing pilot figure here and action base connection piece. And for our hand options, we're going to have swappable fingers. You've got an option for closed fists, as well as trigger finger hands and regular holding hands. You have both of those for the left and the right side. Then we also have these open expressive hands, which are quite interesting. I've always found the pose to be a little bit odd looking. It looks good in like one particular pose. I'll admit to you guys, I think I have the finger parts a little bit wrong, so you'll notice the finger lengths are probably not quite right, but as you can see, they have a couple of points of articulation. They're all connected via a ball joint, and then the fingers also have a joint in the middle, but like I said, the way that these hands are kind of designed with the thumb intentionally stuck out like that, they really kind of only look good in one particular pose, something like this. In that case, they kind of also just might as well have been fixed pose, but anyway, we have those options included as well. Then we have the original beam rifle here, complete with a clear piece there for the camera, dark green piece for that kind of hose bit. It's a pretty simple design. I've never really been a huge fan of this particular rifle design. This secondary handle can also move forward and back. And yeah, ultimately not really very exciting, so that's why I'm glad that we have the additional accessories in here included. But one last thing carried over from the original, which I'm realizing are actually plugged in here onto the underside of the shield upside down. They're supposed to be like this in there, but anyway, we have our beam saber handles stored in the side of the shield there, and of course our clear yellow beam saber effect parts for those. Now you can actually use one of the clear beam saber effect parts for our new weapon. The Fedayeen rifle here is really cool and quite long at 22 centimeters in length. Actually, it's taller than the mobile suit itself there, it looks like. This back part here, of course, will move like that. That's just kind of on a hinge, and here's where you can plug one of the beam saber effect parts into this right here. So this is like the back end of the rifle, but it can act as a sort of beam sword weapon. So you can actually hold on to it right here when using that as a beam saber. Otherwise, when using it as a rifle, you're gonna hold onto the rifle handle right there. And then this is the front, and this little bit right here is also just kind of hanging on there loosely. So it's cool design, very simple, just a few parts, but a really nice, cool, new, unique weapon borrowed from the Hammurabi. And then similarly, we have the serpent head here, which is just this handheld weapon, which is a beam gun, I believe is kind of what it does, but then you can also take off this part and connect this wire. And it's meant to be sort of like a wire-guided, somewhat like a quasi-wire-guided funnel sort of handheld system here. It's quite interesting, but yeah, you can hold this in the hand and that can go off on the wire and shoot out of the little beam gun there, so very interesting. But that's it for the accessories. Just to talk a little bit more about the kit. Like I said, I do really like these new colors here for. Otherwise, everything else about the kit is exactly the same as the original version. You have a lot of really nice details throughout and some nice articulation as well, which we'll see once we get into some posing here in just a moment. Just taking a look around here on the back, you have a couple of clear parts for this clear camera on the back side of the backpack, and I do really love this backpack design, by the way. One of the things that I really enjoy about the Marasai, that, and of course the super unique head and a really elongated antenna there on the head. Other clear parts are here for the visor, and you do have a mono eye in there, although when it's not painted or lit up or anything, it is kind of hard to see the mono eye in there, so it really just kind of looks like this dark visor. But if we pop off the helmet, you can actually turn the mono eye with this little switch here on the top, which is going to be kind of tight, and hopefully you guys can see that in there. When that's turned, you can certainly see it, and especially when it catches the light there. But as you can see, if it was lit up by the LED, which again, this does have an LED gimmick, I don't have an LED unit to put in there at the moment, or if at least you just painted that or something, that would also make the mono eye easier to see, which I think would be nice. One other thing to point out is that the cockpit does open up. It's kind of tricky to get to it, but you can pop this little door on the front there out, and then it lifts up like that to expose the cockpit inside. Not very much though, and there is a seated pilot figure up inside of there, but it is going to be kind of hard to see. Anyway, the hatch does open up, as it is a master grade, of course. And that's going to be about it. So just to wrap up the review, we'll take a look at a few different poses here with some of the old weapons and some of the new weapons, kind of focusing a bit more on the new weapons, of course, because that's going to be probably one of the main features that you're going to want if you're wanting to pick up this kit, or if you already have this kit. Like I said, of course, the new colors are really nice, but that's always something that you can achieve through painting anyway, if you're so inclined for just a new color scheme and if you have the opportunity to paint it. But as far as an exclusive variant, this is definitely one worth picking up if you're a fan of the Marasai, being a very cool version of it. Now that said, if you do have the original Marasai and you have the ability to just paint it yourself into this alternate color scheme if you wanted, you're really only getting this for the new weaponry, and in that case, is this kit really worth getting if you're getting it just for the new weaponry for it? Now, of course, the new weaponry, the rifle does have some seam lines on it, and like I said, it's fairly simple, but it is certainly really nice. I think if you really wanted to have a 1/100 scale Fedain rifle, paying a little bit of money for this exclusive variant is probably worth the time that you would save having to scratch build one of those by yourself. While it wouldn't be necessarily the most difficult weapon to scratch build, I think, you know, just thinking about it in terms of like time value, you might as well just pick up this kit, even if it is going to cost you a little bit more. But that's just my opinion. Let me know your guys' opinion in the comment section. What do you think about this variant of the kit? I really like the fact that this is like a perfect example of what Premium Bandai kits should be and what Premium Bandai kits started as and really should have continued to be. While unfortunately in the more recent years we've seen Premium Bandai kits be like entirely original kits and even quite prominent designs from anime series like the Rose Gundam and the Maxter from G Gundam, for example. But this is a perfect example of a little bit more obscure mobile suit that kind of only had a very short amount of screen time, and it's essentially just a recolor with a couple of added new parts in there for the new weapons, and that's it. And that's what I feel like Premium Bandai started as and should have continued to always be. But that's my thoughts on it. Again, you guys can let me know your thoughts in the comment section, but it's certainly a remnant of a different time. Even though we do still get some Premium Bandai releases, you know, similar like this nowadays, it's a little bit different anyway. So that's gonna do it for this review, guys. If you guys want to check out some more awesome Gunpla, you can check the link in the video description down below to USA Gundam Store. We've got all sorts of awesome Gunpla there for you guys to check out. And as always, if you guys could leave a like while you're here and make sure that you're subscribed, that also helps out a great deal, and I really appreciate all your guys' support. Thank you so much. Until next time, I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.